Good morning and welcome. We are on lesson 16. Amazing. Can't believe we're already on lesson 16. And we've got tomorrow and Friday. And then, as I mentioned quickly yesterday, over the 6-week summer holiday, I'm still going to be running these. There'll be 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, still at 10 o'clock in the morning, still on the same YouTube channel. So please come along and join us for those. But let's get started with today. First, we need 2 pens, preferably of a different colour for marking. We need our ruler. You know that, so you can draw your margins and set your work out neatly. Don't need one of those. Forget that. We're doing everything in our, wait for it. We need one of these notebooks, if you've got one, so you can keep all your work nice and neatly. And we need our brains. We need our big, fabulous brains, okay? Just for half an hour of focus, 10 o'clock every morning, so that we can practice our maths, and then 3 times a week over the summer holidays. Okay, so let's get started. Now, you've all seen this. Hopefully, you've all seen this by now, but don't forget, we're still filling this in this week. But during the 6-week holiday, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So we won't be needing that during the 6 weeks holiday. Let's start. I will do our shout outs in a moment, but first I'm going to just run through the questions from yesterday's review exercise. Okay, if you are watching this on catch up, now is your chance to pause and do these questions now if you haven't already done them. But for the rest of us, let's go through some answers. So 4/9 of 108 is 48. 4.7 multiplied by 6.3 is 29.61. How many of these equations have the solution of x equals 12? There are 3. In fact, all of them have that solution apart from the first one, which, where is my pointy stick? Okay, so the first one, x plus 2 equals 10, would give you a solution of x equals 8. Question 4, the answer is 2. And question 5, B is 131 degrees. And that is because angles on a straight line sum to 180. Remember that we need to state our angle rule to get full marks. Okay, so if you could make a note of your marks for the review exercise, pop those in the chat. We're going to get started on numeracy ninjas in a moment. I think we need some shout outs first, don't we? Okay, so we've got a few to get through, and no doubt there will be more later because I've got mini maths over there collating them for me. So we have good morning to Louisa, who is in East London. Good morning to Ishani in Sheffield. Good morning to Izzy in Richmond. Good morning to Adam in Dagenham. Good morning to Holly and Billy down in Dorset. To Roisin, who is in Wanstead. To Matada in Dagenham. To Josie in Liverpool. I think we've got quite a lot of the country covered now. I don't think I have anyone in Scotland yet. We need to fix that. Good morning to Isla, to Chloe, to Tahar, to Maria, to Ava, and to Rasul. I'm sure there's lots more of you. We will do some more shout outs later, but now is the time to do some maths. So we're going to ease off on the live chat. You might have noticed Mini Maths gets a little bit excited with the live chat, and we are going to do our first questions. Let's go. 30 seconds to go. Part 2 coming up. Thirty seconds to go. And part 3. Thirty seconds to go. Okay, your time is up. Okay, so let's get some answers. Don't forget to mark them with a different colour pen if you have one, and then to pop your scores in the live chat when we are finished. Question 1 is 45. Question 2 is 77. Question 3 is 21. Question 4 is 170. Question 5 is -1. Question 6 is -10. Question 7 is 33. Question 8 is 98.9. And the parent versus kids challenge, B is 45 degrees. Now, the angle rule, we're going to look at this one on the board, is that corresponding angles are equal. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. All right, part 2. Question 1 is 14. Question 2 is 95.23. Question 3 is 86. Question 4 is 100. Question 5 is 2. Question 6 is 4,662. Question 7 is 0.899. Question 8 is 88. And the second parent versus kids challenge, 1/2 of 1/4 of 1/6 of 240 is 5. We'll take a look at that one as well. All right, moving on to part 3. We have question 1 is 99. Question 2 is 1.5. Question 3 is 2,975. Question 4 is 38. Question 5 is 51. Oh, my numbers have gone wrong. I do apologize. Question 6, that should be, is 3. Question 7 is yes. And the 3 mark parent versus kids challenge. The next 2 numbers are 21 and 34. What is that sequence called? You're going to have to wait. I'm going to tell you on the board in a moment. Oh, Rose knows. Rose knows. Maybe if you know, you could pop it in the chat for me. Yeah? And then we'll go through that one on the board. Okay, let's get our numbers on our Beat the Clock board covered up. Nice and quickly. Whilst we're doing that, can you make sure you have totaled up your scores? And you have popped those in the live chat for me as well, please. Right. Here we go, Rose. You're going to help me. So the first one is the first 45. Question, 45. Brilliant. Part 1, question 1. Anything 77. Else? Okay. 77 is question 21. 2 on part 1. 21's there. Where's 21? 21. Yeah. Okay. Question 21. -1, we've done 1. No. -10, we've done 10. Round into the lose whole number. 30. Oh, we've done 33. Okay. 99. Done. And 45. Done. Brilliant. Move on. Next. Part 2. Question 1 was 14. 95. Is that question 2? Yeah. Whoops. And then question 3 was 86. Done that. 100. Done that. Yeah, done that. 2. Done that. Wait, have we done 2? I think we're all the way down to question 88, which is the answer to number 8. Yep. Pop that one on. And then we've done 5, haven't we? Okay. Right, last part 3. 99. Done it. 1.5. Yeah, can't do that. 38, look. Yeah, 38. Yeah, got 51. That. Done. Got 51. Have you got 3? Yeah, no. Brilliant. 3. Yes. Have you got yes? Have you got 21 and 34? 21 we've got. 34. All right. We're all done. Okay, we're getting this board filled up. We need to try and get this board filled by... Don't ask me. Nothing to do with me. Okay. All right, let's do some learning. Right, let's make sure you can see my board. We have Wednesday, the 15th of July. Hopefully you can read that. Let's have a look at some of those questions. Right, a couple of them I'm going to go through quite quickly, and then I want to spend a little bit of more time on a couple of them as well. So the first one was part 1, question 7, the multiplying decimals question. We'll do that one quite quickly because we have done something similar before. Multiplying decimals, don't forget to put your little title in so you have your notes. Okay, the question was 7 multiplied by 4.68. Now you might remember the trick I told you. If you turn this into a fraction, 468 over 100, it helps us make sure we put that decimal point in the right place at the end. Okay, now 7 multiplied by 468. You can use whichever method you want. I've used the column method, and I got 3,276. But remember, it is all still over 100. That makes sure that that decimal point goes in the right place. So now we've got 32.76. The other thing that we mentioned is that you can use estimating and approximating to check that your decimal point is in the right place. So 7 multiplied by about 5 would be 35. 32.76 is about 35. So we're pretty sure we've got it right. Let's move on. The next one I wanted to look at was that angle rule. So we've done a couple of angle rules so far. We've got another one to do today. Okay, so we've got angle rules. Okay, and we had 2 parallel lines. And then we had a line that went through like that. Can you see that okay? All right, and we've got A here. And we've got B here. And we were given that A equals 45 degrees. Okay, so the question was, what is B and what is the angle rule that we're using? Now, I've got a little strip here to demonstrate. Can you, sorry, turn that off, Rose, because it's reflecting. Okay, so look, here we go. Let's put it over here on the white section of the board. So if I keep my 2 red lines absolutely parallel to each other, I can squash it down. I can bring them up. Remember, I've got to try and keep them parallel the whole time. I can squash them down. Now, you might be able to see that the 2 acute angles are staying the same, and the 2 obtuse angles, the angles greater than 90 degrees, are also staying the same. I hope you can see that. It's much easier to demonstrate in the classroom than it is via YouTube, but hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Okay, so what we're saying here is that these 2 acute angles are staying the same. We have a rule for that, and we also often use a letter. Now, this is a bit confusing because I've done my letter upside down, which was a little bit mean, wasn't it? That looks a little bit like an upside down, back to front F. Okay, and this rule, we say that this angle here and this angle here are the same. So therefore B is also 45 degrees. That gives you 1 mark. And the rule, the angle rule, it's a new word for some of us, is corresponding. We say that because corresponding angles are equal. Okay, all right. We've got another one that I'll show you tomorrow as well. Let's keep moving. So, those negative numbers, they keep coming back. and they're always tricky. Let's do another negative numbers example. Don't forget, you can always pause this if you need to write the notes down. Okay, so quick negative numbers. Lots of different ways that we can look at negative numbers. I'm going to try to show you a method actually that I've taught my daughter who's in year 4. And it's called using 0 pairs. It sounds a bit weird, but bear with me. This is part 2, question 1. Okay, and the question was, you have 10 and you are subtracting a negative 4. Okay, these are always quite difficult questions. So I'm going to just show you. So I'm going to represent, I should have picked a smaller number than 10, really, shouldn't I? But never mind. So there's my 10. Okay, there's my 10. There's my 10. I'm subtracting a negative 4. I don't have any negatives here. These are all positive. I haven't written a plus because the plus, the positive is implied, isn't it? But all of those are positive. But I need to subtract a negative. I haven't got any negatives. I need to make some. Now watch this. I can make them by drawing what is called a 0 pair. So watch this. Okay, here's a circle. It's got a positive 1 in it. Here's a circle with a negative 1 on it. Can you see? If I add those together, I get 0. So I haven't changed anything at the moment. Remember that the black numbers here are our 10. But this red here, well, that's just 0. So that's fine. I'm going to do another one. In fact, I'm going to do 3 more. And watch what happens. Hopefully, you can see that this pair here sums to 0. This pair here sums to 0. This pair here sums to 0. And this pair. So I've still just got 10 on my board. I've still only done this bit of my calculation. And now I need to subtract negative 4. So I need to get rid of negative 4. So I need to get rid of these. Get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. Can you see? I have got rid of negative 4. I have subtracted negative 4. What am I left with? I've still got my 10 here. But now look. I've got positive 4. Now, sometimes you're just taught a negative plus a negative is a positive. You've got to be really careful doing that because we can get muddled up really easily. But if we can look at it visually, we can now see that we have 14 positive ones. And therefore, our answer is 14. Hard one to explain, not being in a classroom and talking it through with you. Okay, but I hope that helps you a little bit. I've got quite a few smiley faces, so I'm hoping that means that some of that made sense. Okay, I'll leave it like that for a second. Again, pause it if you need to, if you're watching on catch up. So, right, now I promised you I would do a fraction of an amount question. I'm going to do 2 more questions, okay? I'll try and get them done in time. All right, so my fraction of an amount question is coming up. Right, fraction of an amount. Now, there was a really long question. It was a parent versus kids challenge question. It was part 2. It was 1/2 of 1/4 of what you had it all written as words, didn't you? It was a worded question. And then of 240. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all those offs into multiplication signs. So I've got 1/2 multiplied by 1/4 multiplied by 1/6 multiplied by 240, and I'm going to put that over 1 just to make sure I don't make any mistakes. Okay, let's see how I can rewrite that. I could write it as 1 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 240 over, yeah, so I've just put all my numerators together. Now I'm going to put all my denominators together. 2 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 1. All right, well, I can simplify that straight away by getting rid of those 1s. And that is going to give me 240 as the numerator. And then I've got a choice. I could multiply these together, couldn't I? 2 times 4 is 8. 6 8s are 48. I could write 48 here, but I'm not going to do that because I want to make it a little bit easy on myself. 2 times 4 times 6. I'm going to leave it like that because look, then I can say that 240 divided by 2 is 120. And I know my 2 times table, but I don't really know my 48 times table. I then know that 120 divided by 4 is 30. And then finally, can you see all the way down at the bottom? Let's write it here. 30 divided by 6. So I could, there's nothing to stop me to have done this as 240 over 48. I could have done it that way, but I think it's a little bit easier just to break it down and do it a bit at a time. Okay, hopefully I'm not covering up the board there. One more question, and then it's time for your review questions. So it was a sequence question. I asked you to type in the chat. I'm going to ask Mini Maths. Did anyone get the right word for the name of the sequence? Did you check for me?
No.
She didn't check for me. She's not doing her job. She's getting too easily distracted. She keeps trying to grab my pointer stick. That's why. Right. Okay, so this is called a Fibonacci. Did anyone get it, Rose?
No, I remember. Can I help explain?
Fibonacci sequence. Okay. Apparently Rose is going to help us explain. Go on then, Rose. Come on.
Isn't it to do with shells?
Ah, well, it is to do with
snail shells.
Yeah, it is.
It's about how 0 plus 1 equals 1. 1 and 1 equals 2. 1 and 2 equals 3. 2 and 3 equals 5. 3 and 5 equals 8. And 5 and 8 equals 13.
Okay, what?
So the next number you need to do 8 and 13.
Okay, what is it?
Where's my book? It is 21.
Okay.
And then the number after that, because 13 and 21 equals 34.
Well done. Okay, and the Fibonacci sequence is a really special number sequence because it appears in nature. And as Rose just said, snails or shells, seashells. So if I was in the classroom and I was teaching you lot, this is what I would do. And some of you may even know this if I've taught you before. Okay, when I go to the beach, I collect shells. Okay, I'm going to put one up to the camera now. Can you see that? I collect shells. And then when we're in the lesson and we're learning about Fibonacci and we're learning about sequences, if I've got enough, I give everyone in my class a Fibonacci spiral. Okay, that spiral grows in the exact form of that number sequence that we just did. It is absolutely remarkable. And also, if you get a massive piece of paper, you can draw a Fibonacci sequence, but I think again that might be a bit of a challenge doing it in my living room, but I might demonstrate. Maybe I'll demonstrate it one day. Okay, brilliant. I'm getting lots of positive comments there. So I've got sand all over my hands now. we are going to have to leave it at that and move on to our review questions so we don't run out of time. I need to find my review questions now. Here we go. All right, so it's back to you guys with the review questions. Right, I'm just going to pause that for 1 second, and I was just quickly going through all your fabulous scores. They're amazing. Okay, I've got a 30 out of 30 from Droxy FN. I've got a weirdo in the background with let's just pretend that she's not there. 17 out of 30. Rose Ezra, 13 out of 30. We've got 24 out of 30. 29 out of 30, 12 out of 30. She got 12 out of 30. I think that's all the scores. Don't forget, pop your scores in for next time. Right, I will now put the review questions back on, and I will see you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Can I say, they say never work with children or pets. There's a reason why they say that.
Bye.